lack of focus and lack of concentration and really lack of energy in the afternoon, I think most people would have something like that, would experience something like that, especially between 1 and 4 p.m. That's normal, by the way. So that's why I'm here to shake things off a bit and, make it a little bit, talk about mindset. But before we talk about mindset, what I wanted to say, between 1 and 4 p.m., what we are actually very good at is socializing or collaborating. So if you have brainstorming that you can do, or you need to exchange ideas, or you need to make plans, work with others, these times, 1 to 4 p.m., they're great for that. Because apparently, if we do our individual work right now, that's not going to help because it makes us fall asleep. So, anyway, what I wanted to say is a few things about mindset and why I think it's a verb, it's not a noun. Because, first of all, we do a lot of mindsetting, whether we like it or not, whether we're aware of it or not. We are setting our mind every day on something. And before we actually get to the really, really serious discussions, I wanted to say, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, if you want to contribute, jump in. Don't worry because you're not going to interrupt any serious conversation. It's 1 to 4. It's our collaboration time. So what I wanted to start with, though, and I think most of you have seen this movie already. I'm just gonna make it big because I want you to be able to see it. Okay, so yeah, do you know the story of E.T., by the way? Because I also have this friend with me. My little friend today is helping me collaborate. Do you know the story of how it became a movie? Because it wasn't always a movie. Do you know the story? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. Um, so, as I said, it wasn't always a movie. It is the character, E.T., is based on an imaginary friend that Spielberg created after his parents' divorce when he was 15 years old. And as he had a vivid imagination, he created this character that, as he said, was the brother he never had and the father he didn't feel he had anymore. Interesting, right? Now, 20 years later, E.T. the Extraterrestrial was released, and that was in 1982, to be more exact. I'm not an exact person, but I remember this one. And it's been considered one of the greatest films ever made. It was widely acclaimed by critics as, hear me out, a timeless story of friendship. It ranks as the greatest science fiction film ever made. And in 1994, which to me is yesterday, I don't know about you, but yes, it was released and selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry because it was considered culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Hmm. Now, okay, I hope I woke you up with this little story because I want to start for a bit. so that we can really let this information sink in, right? Wow. I'm going to restart slowly and just say, you know, my name's Roxana. My business is called All Personal. And as strange as it seems and sounds, I want to clarify. I called it All Personal because I believe that it's all personal and nothing is just business. Because you know what? If it was just business, hmm, I think E.T. would have remained the imaginary friend of a very imaginative young man. Yet, it didn't. And here's the why. I think it has a lot to do with mindset. Don't you agree? I think, and you know what? We can call it mindset, imagination, coping mechanism, call it personal superpowers, right? It's all here. It's in us. Now just think about it. All of your experiences, all of your emotions, all of your thoughts, all of your ideas, actions, all of that shapes who you are and who you become, right? All of that is underneath the surface. Our surface, by the way. It it's all with us all the time and pretty much everywhere we go, right? Now think about it. Spielberg had a bad experience as a child. Okay, his parents divorced. But guess what? His superpower, his imagination helped him cope with that. And not just hope, really, and hope and cope. He took that to the next level, right? And he created a masterpiece out of it. Now I want to ask you, how often do we do that? How often do we use our own skills, our talents, our passions, our dreams and drive to really be who we know already that we can be? How often do we take practical and concrete steps to become who we dreamed to be? And now I'm really like, I'm asking you, I'm honestly asking you, how many days a year do we do that for? How many days a year do you do that for? Like, give me a number. Like, what is it? Is it 10 days, 30 days, 60 days? How many days? I don't know. My guess is probably not enough days. And I have another question. How much are we hiding our own ET from ourselves, even? Because we all have our own ET deep inside us, right? We've established that. It embodies all of our dreams and fears, our drive and our surrender, our minds, our souls, everything. And when did we really come to think that when we go to work, we leave that personal little self at home? And then when we come back home from work, we leave the professional self behind the desk at work. It does not work that way, much less today. And this is exactly why people are so confused or have been so confused, because personal, professional space became one. It was so mixed. Everything was, we suddenly had an all in one. And if I was a different person at work than I was at home and vice versa, it would have been a struggle to manage and balance this situation. And then, do you remember what happened when Elliot left ET at home alone? Because Elliot had to go to school. So ET was left alone at home. Do you remember what happened to him? I'm curious. He got drunk. Yeah. He got so drunk. Oh my God. And our selves do that. They get drunk when we've ignored them for too long. Our dreams get drunk when we've ignored them for too long. But then they always seem to be able to find their way back to us. So, mindset, that's an interesting conversation. And I really love this quote. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. And really, it's not complicated, because here it is. I want to share this with you. It's a theory from one of the greatest acting professors that ever existed. His name is Rudy Shelley. And he used to do this when he was preparing an emotional scene with his students. So when his students were going to go into an emotional scene, he used to prep them for that. And he was telling them, when you're in an emotional scene, don't go for the emotion. Go for the thought that triggers the emotion, because that will give you the behavior. That's powerful, right? If you think about something that makes you sad, you will feel sadness and you will act accordingly. Body language, voice, eye contact. This is pretty much sadness, right? Or joy. So what this means in practice, bear with me for a second, is this. We have a thought that makes us feel something. And then because we feel that emotion, we also are going to take action. And depending on the action that we take, we're going to get the result. Now, what happens is that whenever I have, for instance, let's say I have a thought that, oh, I'm going to go live and everybody will see me and they're going to judge me and that's going to be awful. How that makes me feel? Afraid. Now, if I feel afraid, I will act accordingly. And I either don't do anything, right? I don't go live. I do nothing. And so I get no result because I don't want to feel judged. Or I go, but I'm still afraid and I'm not going to be very clear on what my message is, on what I'm supposed to talk about, on how I'm collaborating with people and so on. So my result is not going to be the one that I was hoping for, that people actually enjoy the conversation or enjoy the stuff that they're hearing. So I'm not going to like the experience because I'm not getting the result. And because of that, because I'm not getting my result, it will feed right back into what I think about going live. See, every time I go live and people watch, they judge me. That's always going to happen. So all we need to do really is change the thought here. Now, it's not as simple as it sounds, Because, hey, first of all, you need to be aware of the thought. Second of all, understand how that triggers the emotion, and then understand what kind of behavior do you want to keep, what kind of behavior would you like to change, so that next time in a similar situation, you're getting the result you're after. This is why we literally are what we think about, because our thoughts influence our results very much. And it's a loop that I can break. It's not unbreakable, because obviously, if I'm going to get bad feedback each time because of the way that I take action, of course, I'm not going to like the result. And of course, I'm not going to want to go back into an experience that gave me a bad result. But what happens is, once we understand, we notice and understand what the initial thought was that created that emotion, we can go and literally think about something different. Think a different thought that gives you a different emotion that will help you have a different behavior and take a different kind of action that definitely is going to give you a different result. And that's how you're getting a different kind of feedback. Okay. So um, that is what I wanted to share with you for today. I'm really looking forward to your comments and questions and suggestions on mindset. How does mindsetting work for you? And then I want to tell you that we're going to talk about everything related to how we can prepare, how we can perform, and how we can manage people and teams and really become better at managing ourselves and better at managing relationships and managing people, managing teams. Um, I would like to start already celebrating the Black Friday offers. And so I am planning a bite-sized masterclass series for people who manage people and teams. It's going to be a series spanned over 3 weeks, but I said bite-sized. So we're going to have pretty much every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting next week up until December 10th. We're going to have 30 minutes each day discussing about emotional intelligence, about mindset, about how we can manage time, how we can manage people, how we can manage change, the difference between managing change and managing crisis. So, a lot of helpful information for, especially for those of you who are hands-on managers who manage projects and people and teams every day, either that you're working in larger organizations in teams, or you're a small business owner or a founder who has a small team of people that they need to manage, or maybe they need to grow. So join me on this series, and I will definitely put the link in the comments. You can register on Eventbrite, because it's easier. If you register on Eventbrite, you're getting all of the notifications, and I will be able to also send you recordings and resources after each of these bite-sized sessions. So I'm really looking forward to that. Have a wonderful rest of your day and see you around.